talk me through the different projects that we're working on here. We've spoken about the rhinos, now we're talking about water for elephants. What else are you working on, and how can people get involved in the different projects?
You want me to tell a little bit?
You could talk about the other two charities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so within our 3 charities that we selected, there was Save the African Rhino Foundation, Saving the Survivors, and the Aware Trust. Most of the Saving the Survivors and Aware Trust are vets, so they deal with lots of animals, not just wild animals like you're thinking about, but they also deal with domestic animals. I mean, there are parts of Africa where your domestic animal, your dog or your cat, is getting into a wildlife area and infecting those animals with rabies, which then gets spread on to the next load of meat, which then wipes out a whole, so it's all linked. And our aim was to try and help as many people on the ground that are doing work that really needs assistance. So we pinpointed, with a lot of talking and a lot of verifications, and the organization I represent has been around for 26 years, so Shannon felt at least confident knowing, and you can see what we do on the ground. And that's how the 3 foundations really that are getting help came about. We're taking medical honey, bandages, ulcer pills.
Well, I had to start with, who do I trust there? And because he is like the official representative to Save African Rhino Foundation, he could vouch for the kind of work they're doing. And on their site, they are very transparent with their financials, which is very important to me. Aware Trust is under their umbrella, and they're doing a big event on September 13th that we're going to be a part of and host. And then another conservationist works very closely with Saving the Survivors, and everyone probably knows the story of Hope, the rhino that was poached, and I got very involved with that, so I wanted to include them in the fundraiser as well. So I started with the charities that people were vouching for, but part of why I wanted to come here is so I can meet everyone for myself, not just from these organizations, but others. And then in the future, I can vouch for them. Yeah.
Tell me about some of the things that you're learning here that you maybe didn't know before about the animals in South Africa.
Well, gosh, with the water in particular, there were so many things they were explaining to us. Even with the pollution, they kept going back to the pollution being such a big deal. They showed us some photos of a turtle that had swam through the rings on the Coke cans, like a 6-pack of cans, and it got stuck there. And as the turtle, and there's a lot of toxins in the water that are killing off different areas. I think you're going to remember a lot of this better than me.
Yeah, the problem is that people look at the ocean and they don't see underneath. Okay, when you look at a dead rhino in front of you, you see it's above the ground. You don't see the fact that single-use plastics, which are your straws or your wrapper plastics, when you throw that when you throw it on the ground, it lands up in the ocean. When it lands up in the ocean, it lands up in a creature. It lands up in its stomach, which then lands up in another creature, so that you now have pictures of tortoises with plastic growing out of their nose, and you can't get it out, and it can't, or
it's very painful.
So that's pollution. Then you've got overfishing in the most disgusting manners. The fishermen in certain parts of this country will go and
the seals are taking.
They will remove the seal's head and its fins and put it on the bottom of the ocean bed, so that the other seals will see that seal and go away, so that they don't go and overhunt the snook or the mackerel, because they're catching them in their nets, and the seals are great fishermen, so they'll go steal them. So to stop the seals stealing their catch, they'll kill a seal and drop it at the bottom of the ocean, so that the other seals see and run away. That's what happens.
And this is the kind of things you see when you go out diving, and that they were teaching us about, and they're seeing it all the time.
Wow. How do we change this? Is it a matter of education?
It's a matter of action, education, and refusal to accept what's happening to our country and our planet. I mean, you can do Shannon and I are going to, when we return in October, we have promised to do something to help, because it really affected me, and I know that it affected you. So we're going to Cape Point, and we're going to do a 15-minute pickup. That's all it takes, 15 minutes of your life. And if you look on Shannon's Instagram or on our social media, you'll see what was picked up in 15 minutes on a beach. And if everybody, every time they go to the beach, just looks on the ground and picks up one thing and puts it where it belongs in the correct dustbin, they will make a difference. If you take a brick and put it in your toilet, you'll save a liter a day.
The back of the toilet.
Yeah. There are things that you only have to do one thing every single day to make a difference. Just be an asset to our planet as opposed to a liability. Yeah.
I mean, it's so important to the people that we are with. It's Adrenalize Diving and Ocean Adventure, that they're actually running a special. I think it's October. I think it's in October.
Yeah.
If for anyone that goes out and picks up trash for 15 minutes, it's so important to them. All they have to do is take a picture of themselves doing it, send it to them, and they get a free tour out on the ocean on the boat.
Wow.
It's kind of a big deal. And that's what I put out there the other day, because I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
And they're so knowledgeable. They teach you everything. They tell you everything that's going on. And that's the education. And for them, it's not about the tours and making money as much as it is teaching people what's happening out there. Because if we don't conserve what's happening and conserve our animals in our ocean, they'll be gone very soon.
Now, we're doing a great thing by talking about it right now, but do you think that people, not only in South Africa, but worldwide, have become a little bit complacent? They feel like that they don't really know what they can do.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's easy to say, well, I'm not going to make a difference. What can I do? But one person can make a difference. I mean, all it takes is one. And if you affect one and they affect one, and I mean, that's how everything works. Yeah. And you never know when this child could be the next Nelson Mandela. That makes a huge difference, and that's one person. So you don't know, and you have to try. And I think it is important, because somebody said this recently, and I love it, that there's two versions of this. We're borrowing this planet from our children. And then the other part was, no, we're stealing it from them because we're not returning it in the same shape that we borrowed it in. And I think that's brilliant.